17 not admitted without parents or guardian.
Good evening, fans of fantastic films, and welcome once again to the Drive-In Asylum double feature, where we talk about all sorts of crazy movies. The first of which tonight is going to be The Slayer, which will be the topic of conversation between me and my co-host, Sam Panico.
Hey, everybody. This is Slayer from when they were really fast and did 27-minute long albums, not later slower Slayer. Just kidding. It's Slayer the movie.
I'm not really sure what I knew the band Slayer was going to be brought up eventually on tonight's program, so
yeah.
Maybe we should just get that out of the way first.
I'm getting it out of the way now. I love Slayer.
Are they one of your faves? Yeah.
Yeah, up until probably South of Heaven. That's probably the last album of theirs I like, which is the no, I like God Hates Us All too, which is 2001. So yeah, I go pretty deep before they broke up. So yeah, I dig them. I think I like Haunting the Chapel. I like old Slayer when the solos were completely off key and they just screamed a lot. That's more my my speed.
I am Slayer illiterate. I admit. I really don't know very much about them, although I did see them at Mayhem Festival one year.
They did a song with Atari Teenage Riot, No Remorse, that's on the Spawn soundtrack you might be into.
They co-headlined with Marilyn Manson on that tour. Because I'd seen Marilyn Manson a couple of times, never saw Slayer. Wow. I just couldn't take my eyes off Kerry King.
The bald Kerry King seems to be very up your alley.
I couldn't tell you one song they did. It was just all Kerry King.
Yeah, I can see that.
They were instantly my favorite band that I never listened to.
Yeah, the Slayer has nothing to do with it. Slayer's from 1982. And man, it's Steve, they did a cover of Inagata Devita. It's on the soundtrack for Less Than Zero, which is one of my favorite soundtracks with Hazy Shade of Winter by the Bangles. And Danzig did the theme for it with the Power and Glory Orchestra. He basically ripped off To Stir With Love and did a song called Less Than Zero that Rick Rubin produced right before Samhain became Danzig. It's awesome.
I love that Bangles jam.
Oh, the Bangles song's great, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's super wonderful. But yeah, the Slayer is, man, Bill and I were talking briefly before the show started. This is like I think the fourth week in a row that a woman has gone nuts in one of these movies. And that's pretty much what this movie is. I guess it's a slasher, kind of. It's a monster movie, kind of. It's kind of a woman going nuts. It's awesome. The end of it, a lot of it doesn't make sense. Go figure, we're showing it. And
I'd venture to say most of it doesn't make sense.
Most of it doesn't make sense. And literally, there is you can have your I'm interested to see when we get to when this is over. I'm not going to spoil a lot of it. I'd like to see everybody's theories of really what happened. So that's your homework for the first movie tonight. What's your theory of what you just saw?
Just be prepared. This is the kind of movie where it has a what the fuck ending. So
yeah,
if you know that going into it that the ending is total bullshit, then you know what it's just better that way. But I have to say, it's not offensive bullshit. I really like
No.
the ending of this movie, regardless.
Yeah, and this is the first movie by its director J.S. Cardone, who also made Thunder Alley, which is a breaking into music canon movie, which isn't bad. He also did Shadow Hunter and Shadow Zone, The Scare Hole, which sounds interesting, and
Ooh.
8mm too. So he was making some stuff there, and he made
Scare.
Wicked Little Things as late as 2006. He also wrote the screenplay for the remakes of The Stepfather and Prom Night, as well as The Covenant, which is the guy version, kind of the guyish version of The Craft, and Sniper 3. He got pulled into a lot of direct-to-video sequels, which, it's not. I probably watched all of them. He was the executive producer on those as well. So, but this is it's not about a woman going crazy in Italy, but it's on some island. It's not on Dog Island, which is my favorite island for women to go crazy. But this is it's a pretty movie though. Like, there's my wife. I think it's a really good looking movie though, especially for someone's first film. I think it looks really great.
Yeah, the visual aspect of this film is very nice, which is always a plus with me. Sometimes, the movie can be pretty shitty and get away with a lot if it looks pretty, in my book anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm the same way. Like, if you fire some neon colors at me and have Goblin in it, I'm probably gonna like it.
That's worth at least 2 stars.
At
And
least,
then
yeah.
every gory murder maybe adds another half a star till you're at 4.
This has got a couple because this has a pitchfork murder in it, and this is a video nasty. So if you're a child, perhaps.
I have to say that the pitchfork murder in this movie is entirely convincing, and it's on a par with anything that Savini ever did.
Yeah,
I think so.
I also like that a lot of the art for this movie has the face of the monster. That face, they're smart. That face shows up for about 3 seconds in this movie, approximately 3 seconds. So
if you've seen the trailer for this film, you've seen all of the monster footage in the movie.
Yeah.
Maybe that's another good thing to know going into it too. It's not about the monster. And they kind of, of course the monster is fucking cool, so they had to show it in the trailer.
Kay, who is our lead in it, was only in one other movie in her entire career, which is kind of amazing. She was in The Karate Kid Part 2. She played Stewardess number 2, which feels like a step down from being the star of the Slayer. The Slayer really didn't turn into anything else for her. And our other female star is Carol Cottonbrook. And she appears, and she's actually in a lot of stuff. She ended up becoming a producer, and it looks like she produced a lot of the same movies that J.S. Cardone did. So I'm going to say, yep, that's her husband. So there you go.
You think?
Yeah, that's how you tell. It's like, oh, they go into that. She's also in Thunder Alley. She plays Candy in that. She was in, before that, she was in Cycle Vixens, which, and Survival Quest. So she's been in a couple other things. But yeah, 2 couples hang out on an island. Are they having a furniture party like we saw in Shopping Mall? No, they're not. Furniture parties only happen in malls. But they're coming to this island and they're going to chill out. Kay is also an abstract artist, and she kind of wants to celebrate her. I love these kind of plots. Like, well, she's an abstract art. Like, talk me through it. She's an abstract artist, and her husband, brother, and his wife are all going to go to an island, and there's nobody there, and a hurricane's coming, and they think it's a resort town. Nope, it's all ruins. And I keep seeing this is the same place that I dream about all the time. And yep.
A bad sign.
Yeah, a bad sign. If you come to a place that you've only seen in your nightmares, get back on the plane. That's the first rule. You know what I mean?
First of all, why are you going to a place where you never go to a place where you need a plane or even a boat sometimes?
This is why I don't go on cruises or vacations to all-inclusive resorts, because if somebody has to take me in and drop me off, then I have to wait for them to pick up. It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do it.
This place, although I have questions, because this place looks like it was once a thriving resort.
Yeah.
and I want to know why. Because again, they're on I think it's off the coast of Georgia.
Yeah.
It's been a while since I've seen this movie, but I think it's the coast of Georgia. Anyway, they're in a place where you need a plane to get there. So how was there a whole resort on this island? It wasn't even big enough to land a plane on, I should stipulate. So it's just like a
Yeah.
tiny little thing.
Oh. The monster from her dreams. Is the island the reason that the monster can come into our reality? Again, I don't want to give you too many theories. I want to know your theory in the chat when we come back. That's what I want to know. Also,
Yeah.
if I were Uncle Spooky and I was building a bingo card, burn yourself with cigarettes would be on the card. Hide in a closet, burn yourself with cigarettes. Uh, where's the pilot? There's a lot of things coming up here. So,
Yeah, I never even realized how much of a breakdown movie this really is. But now that you've pointed out all those things, I think we're onto something.
I really think that Bill and I have an appreciation. If there's a genre we love more than any other, it's either like, well, you know what? I think someone said it in the chat. Mike said it. There's another movie about a coastal area where weird stuff happens. And
Yeah.
you know how much Bill and I love that. If you're on the coast or on an island and there's weird Lovecraftian stuff happening, we will watch your movie. We have no problem watching your movie.
It helps if there's just some really weird shit in it that doesn't make any sense and there's nice paintings.
Yeah. Also, yeah, there's paintings in this as well. Also, if your movie maybe didn't get completely finished and they had to fix it in the editing room, you're probably gonna like the movie a lot.
Oh yeah, this definitely seems like an unfinished film.
Yeah. Yeah. Though, I said in my review, it's like it's really bleak movie and it looks way better than the budget and the level of experience everybody in this would make you feel. Like
I agree.
yeah. It doesn't get talked about as much because it's 82 is kind of the end of the slasher boom. It doesn't really fit into that. This has kind of like a hard handle. Like you can't really get a handle on it. Like whereas someone's really gonna like Halloween or Prom Night or something because it fits into a genre. Do you know what I mean?
I think Dan's onto something here.
I think Dan, that person could be you.
There's a lot to be said. You could expand this into a nice box set that would get you hailed as something around there.
Try to tie folk horror into it, and you'll be set.
Mm-hmm.
That's my advice for you.
We have to have a lowbrow counterpart to the boxes, like House of Psychotic Women.
Yeah,
like stuff that's like really, truly offensive.
Yeah,
or maybe just like totally what the fuck.
Speaking of, I've been watching a lot of Godfrey Ho Ninja movies this week. I've been talking to David about. David knows about this. Bill, these movies, they're amazing because one, often they're 3 or 4 or 5 movies jammed together to make one movie, right? But also, whoever was making them was like just had a bunch of 4AD albums. So like Clan as IMOX will just randomly show up. There's a bunch of there's like 5 Joy Division songs in one of the ones I watched, and I was like, what? And like first album in excess, and then like all of a sudden, imagine like first album in excess transitioning into Set Controls for the Heart of the Sun by Pink Floyd as ninjas fight. These movies they're coming up on the site soon. Don't worry. I was like, I went from being like Whole Week of Ninjas to like holy shit, a Whole Week of Ninjas. Super excited. So yeah, there's a lot of just like also like a lot of Italian disco gets used in them. A lot of like the Phantasm soundtrack, the Nightmare on Elm Street soundtrack. Just if it's an instrumental, it's going to get used in the song. It's in a movie. It's really wild. And it's
Claudio Simonetti has some connection to Italo disco.
Yeah, there's one band BBQ that got used in it, and it's really good. The song that's in it. Also, a lot of the Warrior soundtrack gets used in these movies too. Yeah, that's David just brought up. Yeah, Wax and Wayne by the Cocteau Twins is in one of their movies. Like these are like I don't know what the crossover is between like the deepest alternative cuts of 1985, 84, 85. As you can imagine, like yeah, you can see where they got like Tangerine Dream songs and like other stuff that would be that had been used in movies and is instrumental, and you can grab a lot of stuff out of it. But some of the other stuff, you'll be like, wow, like I cannot believe that some of these songs get pulled.
There's no guy cooking cats in this movie.
No.
There's no
So
violence to animals in this, I don't think.
I say that, and then will there be? I don't think there is.
Yeah, that's not a guarantee. Like I said, I haven't watched it in a long, long time. I'm very much.
Oh, I
looking
should go to
forward
the
it.
IMDb parents page, which is one of my favorite things because there's like a parents page for every movie on IMDb, and I like going to like Andy Sedaris movies, and they're like nonstop nudity and hot tub scenes throughout. Not for children, or discuss it with them. What are you going to discuss it with them?
You don't have to discuss that kind of stuff with
You
kids.
could
They
grow up
already
to be a
know.
secret agent, little Bill, and you'll be in a hot tub. I'm like, oh, okay. So,
Hey, as long as it's R-rated, you know.
yeah, you kids can watch PG-13 when you turn 13. That's what I say. A hard PG-13.
Hey, last night on Joe Bob, they showed Possession.
They sure did. People were not pleased. People were not pleased.
I honestly have not had time to look at all the Mutant Fam reactions on it.
Yeah, it was like, this is really boring. What is this? Why is this happening? Who? Hey, that's the guy from Jurassic Park. Yeah, he's done other movies. This isn't funny. No, it's not. Like it was.
They thought it was a comedy.
They were like, "There's nothing to make fun of in this movie. It's really, really upsetting." Sometimes movies that's what they're like. So yeah.
Yeah, sometimes that's even what horror is considered.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, they should.
That's one thing that bothered me about franchise horror is that I don't want to knock anybody who's a fan of whatever. That's not what I mean. But
yeah, I'm not going to Utah to stay in the house from Halloween 5 or anything. But go ahead.
No. Something was lost when these villains became like Freddy started making jokes, and Michael Myers became this beloved character, and Jason and all these guys. It's like it kind of detracted from their viability as a villain in a horror movie, I would think, because that used to be the thing that you were afraid of, and then it was like everybody had a doll in their house.
Yeah,
Michael Myers.
Yeah, I think it's Michael didn't change, but the movies around him did. I mean, you have Busta Rhymes spin kicking him and stuff. So
was that the moment that it jumped the shark?
No, it was way before.
It had to have been way before that.
But you know what though? It's fun. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. Like I've gone, well, not that one, but like I've gone back and watched. I really didn't like 4 at all when it came out, and I really like it now. Like I think I've like turned the corner on it. So maybe it's this house. It's this place, Bill. This place where Halloween plays all the time.
Yeah, I agree, Vince. The tall man was scarier longer than the other guys, although even the tall man succumbed. But he was scary, at least in the first 2 movies. Michael Myers was scary in the second one.
Yeah. He's scary in the 4th one, too. It's a little bloodless because they tried to go for an R, but
I don't think the 4th one is scary at all.
There's nothing in the. It's a well shot movie, though. I really like the 4th one.
There's nothing in any Halloween movie that was scary until H20, which I thought had really good suspense chases. Some of the best in the franchise, I would even say. So that at least had that going for it. It was still old at that point, but
she was here right now. I know she's listening.
I know,
and she's like, "God,
I know she has words." Well, they mean different things to that generation. The younger generation they saw those first.
Yeah, like those are 4 and 5 are like very much her Halloweens. 2 is her favorite, but 4 and 5, she went to the theater and saw those for the first time. So those were like big experiences for her.
I can only speak for myself, and that's all I.
I think that's a great theory to have. It's like I like self-contained horror movies more than sequels, but on the other hand, like I kind of really dig sequels. Speaking of, Bill, I did a podcast this week, and I'm not allowed to say what movie it is, but
once more, you're not allowed to say it.
But it is a sequel. I'm allowed to say that, and it's a Giallo sequel. That's all I'm allowed to say. But
you gave it away last week.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did. You went even further than you just did tonight.
I'm not going any further. I will say though, it was an awesome experience. I can't wait for everybody to hear it because this show is very, if you're into giallo, the show is very deep, gets into stuff. So it was a lot of fun. And trying to get the host Diane to do our show. We'll see. She was interested, so she's really fun. You guys will dig her. It's funny, we had a thing at the end. I said, well, who are your giallo king and queen if there was a prom? And she's like, we just have 2 queens. I'm really not interested in any of the guys in them. I'm like, of course. That's a lot easier. So, anyway.
Mike Justice is a Halloween purist. The rest is bollocks. I don't know. In a way, that's not untrue, but you have to like it for the bollocks, the sequels.
You know what the thing is? Like, it makes me happy when slasher comes out now, like a sequel to something, so I can see it in the theater. Like, I think there's something cool to that. I also come from, like, my main fandom before movies was comics, and so there's a new comic every month, so you're getting a sequel to a story, every month, and you're dealing with this continued lineage that goes on for a long time. So sequels never upset me as much because it's just like the idea of it's just like another issue of Nightmare on Elm Street, if you will. I go up to 3 4 maybe in Nightmare on Elm Street. I really like Dream Warriors a lot, but I have a weakness because that's one of the first horror movies I like hardcore, not hardcore, but like 80s horror movies I sat the whole way through.
Hey, I think we should do the drink segment now because I'm getting thirsty.
One thing I want to say before that, Bill, speaking of sequels, they showed The Mutilator last night, and there's going to be Mutilator 2.
I know. How about that?
Yeah.
Ooh.
So, by pick, by sword, by axe, bye again. Vivi.
Vivi's getting all upset. She hears dogs outside.
Let's see if I can make the same face on the other side. Ready?
Yeah, this is creepy. Okay, can I go to the drink segment now?
Yes, please.
Well, now you have to wait because I lost the overlay. Okay, here it is. Dun dun dun. Take it away, other Sam.
Beach. There's no earthly way of knowing which direction we are going. There's no knowing which way we're rowing, or the way the river's flowing. Is it raining? Is it snowing? Is a hurricane blowing? Yes, it is, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the hurricane recipe, which I now have to load up because I can't remember Willy Wonka's speech because I'm old. Anyway, this is the hurricane. Get it? Because this movie's about a hurricane. The lead character is called Kay. We were trying to do some effects for my hair. We get blown back.
I tried everything in this world to make wind in this kitchen. It didn't work.
Didn't work. So just imagine that I'm in the middle of a hurricane. There's a couple lamps around me, and anyway, this drink is kind of made to drink during hurricanes, so that you can kind of be a little drunk and maybe, I don't know.
Oh no, the power went out. The hurricane.
Don't scare Cubby. Anyway, this is the hurricane. Let's go through the ingredients here. We got 2 different rums. We're opening up this one for the first time. This is a birthday gift a while back. Nowhere close to my birthday right now. Don Q Cristal. This is straight out of Puerto Rico.
Who is Don Q?
Don Q. Well, you don't talk about Don Q. And Cruzan. These 2 are coming together. The Cruzan bottle's gone. We've made it through this whole bottle over the course of the show. We've done it together. Anyway, these 2 ounces of each. This is going to get strong. 2 ounces of orange juice. Couldn't find passion fruit juice, so this has frozen passion fruit in it, which you can find in Pittsburgh. It'll be enough to be 2 ounces. And then we're going to combine half an ounce of grenadine, half an ounce of simple syrup, 0.25 ounce of lime juice. And we're going to top off with a cherry. It's got a lot in it, but you know what? This movie doesn't make any sense. And you can read into it however you want to read into it. So you can drink into it whatever you want to drink into it. So we're going to go with 4 ounces total of rums. There we go. Thank you. And we're going to go with 2 ounces of each juice. We're going to have to really shake that up. We're going to do grenadine, simple syrup, and lime. Now, the most important part of this drink, especially when your wife's filming it, make sure that you have a solid seal, because you're going to really shake this one. Shaking it hard. But your hands hurt. So oh my God, this side is a hurricane. There's a hurricane. Oh my God, the villagers. How many happiness, the citizens. Anyway.
And watch when it comes off, too.
Yeah, watch when it comes off. And you're going to pour that in a glass.
Pretty.
Yeah, you get a very pretty color. And you're going to top it off.
Little cherry.
Boop. All right. Pazuzu. Let's see what this tastes like. Look at that little foam on the top. That's lovely. All right, let's take a sip. I am ready for any storm at this point. Enjoy the movie. We'll be back with another drink.
Pazuzu, everybody. What a delicious beverage.
I have it here in a convenient sports bottle.
And it's hiding in my glass here. It's not see-through.
Did you make it too?
I did, yes. So cheers. It is delicious.
Enjoyable. Thank you. How about Becca filming these videos? She's doing great.
Oh, I know. I love it.
Yeah.
I was initially resistant to the idea of a canned segment on this program, but then I saw how good it looked. I was like, this is perfect.
It makes real good. These drinks are free if you go to the drive-in, Noel. You can get one at the drive-in for free. I make a lot of them.
Sam makes the best, and they're all in like Gatorade bottles and stuff.
Yeah. I'm prepped.
That was deluxe. You didn't do that this year, I don't think.
No, I did. I bought new bottles for this year.
One year you had all this shit and it was all in Gatorade bottles.
Yeah.
I was like, this is so fucking cool.
I drink a ton of Gatorade though, so yeah, I should just start using Gatorade bottles again.
Oh yeah, that was great.
I'm a big fan of Gatorade. Gatorade and Jägermeister really makes a solid drink if you're a drunk. Does it hydrate you and dehydrate you?
Jaeger?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had Jägermeister in years.
Oh.
The last time I drank Jaeger was at a Slipknot concert.
Oh man.
There was like this. I took our son to see Slipknot in 2009, and I wasn't like boozing it up or anything around him.
Yeah.
And but there was this mom and pop couple at the concert that were sitting by us. And they were like, yeah, our kids were supposed to come with us tonight, but they failed their classes or something. They did something bad and they didn't let them. So they're like, so we came instead. And they had this big cup of like booze in there. And they were nice enough to share.
Oh man. When I can tell you my stupid Slipknot story. When I was in Japan, they took us to this bar that may have been run by people missing fingers, let's say. That was a karaoke bar, but you had to sing on the bar with a whole bunch of people. And they had like this, and my friend that I was wrestling over there with from Tokyo, it was Makita, Soldier, Soldier.
I do.
He said, I told them you're a big rock and roller, so you need to sing for them. And I was like, okay, yeah. And like, so they gave me this book and everything's in kanji. Like I could read a little bit of kanji, but not enough to get by. And
you can read a little kanji?
Yeah. From wrestling.
Wow.
I can tell wrestling terms and like, I can like tie it into my head. So like, I get to the S page and Slipknot is all in English. It just says Slipknot and Wait and Bleed was the only song. So like, I was like, okay. So I sang it and like, I was literally standing on the bar walking like Johnny Cash back and forth across the bar while people were drinking. And this old lady had a tambourine, and she was phonetically singing it with me. The lady that runs the place, and it was,
wow,
yeah, it was the first night I ever drank sake, and I drank like maybe 12 glasses of sake. And I never understood that thing in Japanese movies, like where there's always women pouring drinks, because there's literally someone that comes to your table and pours your drinks. And I kept ordering Cokes because I didn't want to drink. And I was still just starting to drink, and believe it, there was a time where that used to happen where I didn't drink. And they said, sake is a lot cheaper than Coke. And that's a real nice Japanese way of saying, maybe drink sake with us. So I started drinking it. And I remember at one point I had to go to the bathroom, just hold myself up to stand up. And there was a waterfall in the bathroom. And I was like, this place is crazy. Went back out.
Yeah, sake got me wrecked a couple of times because you don't expect it. And they keep giving it to you,
Yeah, and it's hot too. They have they warm it at the table, and and everybody kept asking me to sing other songs like Mr. Sam, please sing Eric Clapton for me, please sing In White Room for me. So I had to like sing all these like Cream songs and shit that I don't really know, and it was a interesting experience. You got to live,
Makita brought me a sake in a carton.
Oh, it's the best.
From
You put it in the
Japan.
microwave?
No, I didn't. I just left it at room temperature, though. He was like, "Don't put it in the fridge."
Yeah. Yeah, he always used to bring that for me too, and it's real good.
Oh, that was when you guys came over to our house. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
After he lived with us, and then he had gone back to Japan and returned, and
Yeah.
he brought me a couple of cool items from Japan, and that was one of them. But when you came in, we were watching those Japanese TV shows. Do you
Yeah.
remember? It just I didn't know he was coming over, and we were watching Kure Kure Sakura. It's like a children's Japanese with an octopus character. It's like the Muppets.
Yeah. He's like, okay.
You just wonder what he thought when he
Yeah.
walked in. We never got over you, Makita. He's a super nice guy.
Yeah. But it's super good. I really enjoy it when it's like it's different than there, obviously, like it's you get it, you have someone pouring it for you and it's heated up and it's like, wow, this is. I also didn't know that like whoever the youngest person, if you're with women, the youngest woman at your table is supposed to pour drinks for everybody, because we went to eat with a lot of the female wrestlers from one company. And one of the girls was just drinking her own beer and wasn't pouring her drinks, and another girl just literally high kicked her out of the chair, knocked her out of her chair, like on the ground in Ribera, this steak restaurant where all the wrestlers go. And she was like, she's being disrespectful to you. I'm like, you don't have to kick her in the face. Like, I can pour my own Coke. Like, I'm totally cool, But that's what happened. So from there, I like afterwards, I'm like, I'm really sorry you got kicked. She's like, no, I'm so sorry I was being rude to you. And I was like, I'm fine.
I haven't had these experiences with you.
Yeah, it's imagine being drunk in Japan for 6 days and getting beat up every day. That's pretty much what it's like wrestling over there. It's like drink all night and then try to get unhungover so you can get
In
beat
other
up.
words, you loved it.
It's a dream come true. I mean, it's
Look at the ad campaign for the Slayer.
Let's take a look at it.
Is it a nightmare or is it the Slayer?
Man,
What does that remind you of?
let me take a look at it.
Is it live or is it Memorex?
Yeah, do you put the dog out and put the headphones on the dog? Remember that commercial?
Mm-hmm. Do you remember Chuck Mangione
Oh,
faking out that guy?
He was the theme song in Pittsburgh for a long time when The Point. Remember they would always play the song with The Point and that.
Or was that Herb Alpert? I forget which one.
Is that Herb Alpert? I don't know. It's some guy.
I forget. It was one of the two of them.
Yeah.
Do you remember the commercial? And they were like, you have to tell if this is the recording or if this is really.
Oh yeah,
Herb
that is
Alpert.
Chuck Mangione in that one.
Chuck Mangione playing live.
Yeah. I only bought Surtrons. That's all I bought. Cheap 90-minute one, so I could make mixtapes for girls that didn't care.
I never bought Surtron. I mean, I had some Surtrons when I was a kid, and back before. That's
the same people mad about Surtrons are mad about slipcases today. But go ahead.
Oh no, that's not why.
Yeah.
Surtron was just the thinnest tape, and like I couldn't, as an 11-year-old with one of those portable cassette recorders, I couldn't just rewind over and over again. The tape would always break, so I learned not to buy Surtron.
I used Surtron when I was, because this should tell you how old I am. When I audio taped TV shows off the TV, that's what I would use.
Yeah.
And then, like, if I was making tapes for somebody or taping an album, I'd use the Memorex clear ones that had the circle, like the neon kind of colors on them.
Yeah, those were everywhere. That was like later in the 80s. Mm-hmm. Although I will say for Surtron, I'm not sure what year it was, but at one point they had one of this clear shell cassette that had like reel-to-reel pieces in it. Like the cassette reel, you could see it through there, and it was styled like an old-fashioned reel-to-reel player. I loved those, and those were cheap.
Yeah.
I made a bunch of mixtapes on that stuff.
There was an art to, like, you can make someone a mix now online, but I started getting away with the ads. Sorry. Yeah. It's not the same. Like when you would perfectly like sync it where the song ends, and you knew somebody didn't care when they'd make you a mix and the song would end halfway through, and like you had no planning or foresight.
My mixtapes never ended halfway through.
No, I would imagine. This is probably a third segment conversation, but fuck it. what's a Bill mixtape? Like, what's a couple songs that would be on a Bill mixtape?
It would depend on when it was from.
Oh, okay.
There was I made a bunch of mixed CDs for people in the 90s, but mixed
Yeah.
tapes, that could have been anything. It was probably all new wave stuff like the Thompson Twins and ABC, the Human League, Pet Shop Boys, absolutely. OMD, God, so many things. But as a kid, it was all my 45s like Fleetwood Mac, Tusk, stuff like that would have been the 70s for me.
I would, if you made me a mixtape and Tusk was on it, I would probably love it even more than I do now. I'd be like, oh, it's so great. Just it starts with Tusk.
Just pretend I did, because that was on a lot of my mixtapes.
Yeah, it's just start with that. It's funny because like it's different than when you like make a mixtape for your friend versus like you're making like a mixtape for like somebody you're really interested in. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Oh yeah, there was an art form to making the romantic wooing mixtape.
Yeah, because it's like you don't want to go so far within it where you're like, I'm being a creep, right? But like on the other hand, it's like, what are the songs that get me there?
I went full on creep.
Did you?
I did. Yeah.
What's a song that would be like a definite "I'm interested in you" song?
Oh God. Now you're putting me on the spot, and I can't remember what I used to put on my Lust mixtapes.
Oh, it wasn't even love; it was lust.
Sometimes it was just lust. Yeah, it was always like by that time it was probably the late 80s, early 90s. So there was a lot of like the dirtiest Thrill Kill Cult stuff that I could find. Okay. Eventually there was like Rob Zombie Dragula. Oh. 9 Inch Nails, I Want to Fuck You Like an Animal.
Nice. I think if I was interested, I was gonna say if I was, it should have been like it's like not this Bill knows 90%, 99% of the girls I was interested in were goth girls. So it would always be like Catch by the Cure would be somewhere on there. Like it would be like a non like well known Cure song, and it's like, oh yeah, he knows what he's doing.
That's a good one, Catch. Yeah,
Catch is a good song. It's not a Cure. It's like that shows
Never Let's Go to Bed.
Yeah, but it's like Catch isn't a song that you'd hear on the radio, right? So you're like, oh, I got like some kind of cred, I guess.
Yeah, although I did hear it on the radio. WXXP used to play it.
Yeah, but that's a cool radio station.
Well, nobody played The Cure until the next album. It was, or no, it was like Disintegration. I think they started playing. Or Friday I'm in Love was when I started hearing like.
Oh, that's when it was on like the X and everything. Like
commercial, no, but like big time commercial stations were suddenly playing The Cure.
Oh yeah. In between days, we'd get on MTV though. Like there would be a couple. You'd see videos every once in a while. It'd be like a big deal to me to see.
I think Noah Ward has me pegged.
Yeah.
I was making stripper mixtapes.
Would you have like Pour Some Sugar on Me on it? And
I never put that on a mixtape, but I did like that song.
That's a good song. Hey, Mutt Lange's a great producer, dude.
Anything by Mutt Lange is going to be, except Shania Twain.
Well, yeah, but like his Def Leppard stuff's great. Like,
remember when Shania Twain got in trouble for claiming she was Native American?
Yeah. Yeah.
They were like, well, you were adopted by Native Americans.
Yeah. But like, like his Def Leppard stuff's really great. Like I love all those albums. The Power Mania is like a great album.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because it's like, it would be really hard to make mixtapes because girls would always be like, oh, make me a mixtape. And I'm like, the majority of stuff I listen to is like Burzum and like really horrifying black metal. Like, what can I listen to that you will enjoy?
Def Leppard were definitely my favorite hair metal band because like I really wasn't into it as a genre, but I identified with Def Leppard because I could hear all the like electronic stuff that they were doing in it because I was really into synth pop. And I was like, oh, this sounds like a synth pop record, not a hair metal band. And I remember I used to have this interview picture disc of the Pet Shop Boys. And I don't think I ever heard this interview with them again, but it was right after they had done their second album, which was in 1987. And they were talking about the people that they collaborated with because they had like used all these new keyboards and sequencers on it. They were like, we had to call in this drum technician to get the sound we wanted. And he had just gotten off of, and then they stopped themselves and they're like, should we say? Well, he had just been working on the Def Leppard record. So he was like this guy that did fake drums, but they didn't know whether they should say that Def Leppard was using this kind of
They have
as
the
if anyone cares.
they have the kind of Thin Lizzy multiple guitar attack thing going on too. Maiden does too, but like that, like multiple, like
Yeah.
As much as I love Iron Maiden and Black Sabbath, I rarely put them on mixtapes for girls. Like girls don't want to listen to it. You know what I mean? Like that's
I don't know. I knew a lot of girls that would have dug that.
My wife
should have gone to my high school.
Yeah. Would you put like Changes by Black Sabbath might work, but like I only like Volume 4 I would never put on,
Oh, well, yeah, Black Sabbath didn't really write fuck music.
No.
They were
Neon Nights is no, it's not. Never mind. The Dio stuff's maybe a little closer because it has a little more like jammy stuff to it, but nah, they didn't.
That wasn't their thing. At least maybe I never heard that Black Sabbath before.
Led Zeppelin is, right? Isn't that the line?
Oh, Led Zeppelin is sex.
On Fast Times at Ridgemont High, doesn't he say just put on the second side of Led Zeppelin 4 and just go?
Led Zeppelin is pure sex, 100%.
Well, you were born, what do you call it? You were in the womb at a Led Zeppelin concert.
I attended a Led Zeppelin concert in the womb 4 days before I was born, so I'm claiming it.
Yeah.
I love Led Zeppelin. I have ever since I was a little kid. I used to put on a Whole Lot of Love and that weird like intro. That thing in the middle where it's just screaming and John Bonham. I loved that. I used to listen to that over and over again.
My dad had Led Zeppelin 1, 2, and 3 on vinyl. Then he had the vinyl that had the spinner in it where all the images would change.
I have one of those now. It's not mine I didn't have it when I was a kid. My dad had all those records. So I could just listen to that like, Sabbath, Paranoid, like he had all that stuff. T-Rex Electric Warrior. That was when I discovered T-Rex, was when I was 3 years old, because my dad had the Electric Warrior album. Lou Reed, Transformer. I heard all that shit when I was really young.
My dad had a weird collection where it was like a lot of Hendrix and a lot of Led Zeppelin. And at some point my dad got really into Moog and synth. So he was like super into synth, and he had all the Walter Carlos and Wendy Carlos albums. Like he must have like 12 of them. And I would listen to them all the time as a kid, and I'd be like, these albums are crazy. But that's what he was. I mean, my dad had interesting taste,
Oh, Vince, I love when you bring up Code 4.
Yeah.
Code 4 is like this British techno outfit that they were sort of like the German, I think I said British. They were German. They were sort of like the German Thrill Kill Cult.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So you know how much I like that.
Yeah.
We've been staring at this ad for the Slayer for so long.
Let's get into the ad. Sorry, everybody that's waiting for the ads. We'll bring this back up in third segment. Everybody, homework for second segment. Talk about the Slayer. Homework for third segment. Tell me 3 songs on your mixtape.
A couple people just showed up. Like Paul just showed up.
Yeah.
So Paul, I'm glad you showed up before we were ready to sign off. Usually you're like the last comment in whatever segment we're doing. So it's nice to see you. It's nice to see all of you. Thanks for hanging out with us. We really love meeting with you guys and watching these movies.
Yeah.
And we hope you enjoy our first feature tonight, which is The Slayer. Here's an ad for it in New York. This was in 1982, in October of 1982. So
that's you know what? The typeface on the Slayer is gorgeous.
Oh, I know.
Like it's a hand done font. Like, do you know what I mean? Like in this ad, like seeing this ad is like, fuck yeah, I want to know what this movie's about.
It's just a gorgeous ad campaign regardless. I know that the movie, I'm sure that the opinions will be split once we come back. But I don't know. There's something about this film that I really dig. And part of it is because a lot of people just don't talk about it. It's not, a movie that's on everybody's lips. 21st Century put this out, Sam.
You know how much I love them.
Yes.
Even the logo makes me happy.
Look at this. I had to clip something like this just so you could see. Now those first 2 ads we saw were from 82. It played sporadically. And I mean sporadically. This did not have a wide release at all. They tried it in 82. They tried it in 83 a couple times, and here it is in 84, as you can tell by all the company in the theaters. Can
Trying
you
to see what
see it
else is
too?
playing with it. The Initiation.
Yeah. How about that? Another
Yeah.
obscure slasher.
Yeah, we showed that, didn't we? Pretty sure we showed that.
No, I don't think we ever
No?
did the initiate. I'd
Oh,
remember
maybe
Vera
Sweet
Miles.
16 we showed instead of the
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd
Wow.
remember Vera Miles on our show.
Wow, I really like. I mean, I love all the movies that are playing with this, but here's what I'm always amazed by. I was thinking about it the other day about how like the theater that was further out on 19, like once you pass Ross Park, the what was that? North Hill Cinemas
It was the showcase for a while.
Showcase, yeah.
It was Showcase North.
And like how many like Bruno Mattei movies played there and Fulci movies played there. Like that's the same theater I saw Empire Strikes Back at, and you could have seen Grim Reaper there. Do you know what I mean? You could have seen like some insane movies there.
I remember Grim Reaper. I mean, that actually got some pretty wide distribution.
But just think about that you could have walked from Theater 7, Empire Strikes Back, the biggest movie ever, is playing, into what a Bruno Mattei Nun movie. Do you know what I mean? Like
that's pretty amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Red Dawn too. Look at this one.
I'm wearing the shirt tonight for this, Bill. This is so exciting.
This is from Fort Lauderdale, Florida.
Oh.
And look, I don't know if you can see it. The Slayer is playing as a co-feature with The Evil Dead.
Oh, that's a great double feature.
Doesn't it make total sense?
You know what? It unlocks why I like this movie even more.
Evil Dead has a lot more action. Please do not expect The Evil Dead with the Slayer.
But
this
movie
movie,
too. If this played with Yor, you'd be like, I'm exhausted from Yor. So much has happened in Yor, which is honestly, I know I love every movie. Yor is definitely in my top 10 movies ever. I love yours so much.
The Slayer is just so laid back, and there's not a lot that happens in it. It's all about the mood.
Movie. Yeah, we're gonna hang with the Slayer.
It's the atmosphere, and
can you imagine spending 50 cents to fucking see Yor or see Evil Dead and the Slayer? I mean, come on.
I know. God, those were the days.
Man, the world.
50 cents.
50 cents.
What was 50 cents at that time, do you think? Do you think that was like about
$2.50?
It wasn't even $5, I wouldn't even say.
I mean, look at it's what does that say? It's a little blobby, but $3, or is that $5 a carload?
$3 a carload.
Can you imagine?
Beach Drive-In, yeah. You could go see all this shit. And of course, remember at the time we didn't know this was going to be so well regarded. 50 years.
I will say, I've said it before, but when I saw the trailer for Yor at the drive-in, and I said to my dad, "This looks like the best movie ever." And he looked at me and said, "This looks like a piece of shit." And I told him that story a couple years ago, and he said, "Was it?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, it is, but I love it." It's one of my favorite movies. Like we got to show it sometime. It is just ridiculous movie. See, this ad is beautiful. Between everything in this ad, the Slayer logo being on the axis it is in 21st century, repeating it below.
Yeah.
Like
it's beautiful, isn't it?
This ad is gorgeous. The Del Rey twin is one
That's
of my
why
favorites.
You like that one that I did for Death Game and whatever our A feature was that night, because it was slanted.
Yeah, I love when Type breaks up the look that it's in.
I'm gonna deliberately do that from now on, Sam Panico. I'm gonna turn you on by making you slanted ads. You're gonna love it.
The Slayer typeface is so gorgeous too. Oh man! And then Pittsburgh. Look at that. We're repeating the South Hills history.
Yeah, look, you could see Vice Squad, our second feature tonight, because they were both out in 82, although this is 1984.
Yeah.
As you can tell by romancing the
Starlight is now a mega church.
That's awesome. They're still putting on a show there.
They still are. You know, The Executioner Part 2, another movie saved in the edit bay, just like the same guy who did that did Joe too. Like it's a movie fixed in editing. Man, Romancing the Stone and Mr. Mum's cool. Rhinestone and Porky's too had to be like the saddest night. I want to know where the Super 71 was because I live right outside of Bell Vernon. Like I got to know where that was. But man, the Executioner Part 2 and the Slayer, or having all three of these together, that's a fucking night at the movies, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
We didn't know how good we had it.
can you imagine seeing all three of these movies together? Also, like seeing the Executioner, the Slayer, and the Exterminator. Oh man, I would not be tired after these movies. Like I would be like ready to go after seeing all three of these together.
The Slayer, though, is so moody.
Oh, well, that's why you got to put it second so you can bring it back up. This is like the beat drops and then the beat comes back up with Exterminator. Because I imagine, I haven't seen Vice Squad, but I imagine Vice Squad is gonna blow my fucking mind.
It is. This is gonna be, we're still in the before Vice Squad portion of your life. The after Vice Squad portion of your life is gonna be much more exciting. Look at all these ones.
So I have a lot of thoughts, so I want to share my thoughts here.
Yes, I know right where your eyes went.
Yeah, the Dependable.
No,
I love that Risky Business is a movie that upset a lot of people, right?
Drop your eyes down to Greater Pittsburgh.
Oh, I know. I saw that first. I did. Seven Doors of Death and the Slayer playing together. Is that what you mean?
Yes, of course.
Or do you mean Ghostbusters and Hard Bodies? Because kids would come in to see Ghostbusters and like, oh, by the way, Hard Bodies.
I meant Exterminator 2 and City of the Walking Dead down there in the Monroeville. Yeah. Wait, what is City of the Walking Dead? That's the one about the plane zombies.
Yeah. I love that Monroeville was like, Miracle Mile is right next to Monroeville Mall. Night of Submission. Like, fuck it. Like, hey, kids. But Dependable was like, everywhere else in the world, Risky Business seems like a big deal. We're playing it after Pretty Teachers and Dirty Girls. We don't care. And then Camp Horn with Purple Rain and First Blood is like two cultural forces that I would never put together, but I would love to see together. Like, that's a great double feature.
Can I just say one thing?
Please.
Fuck Risky Business.
You don't like Risky Business?
I fucking hate Tom Cruise.
I don't like Tom Cruise, but I like Rebecca De Mornay. I can't say
that's why I say fuck Risky Business, because I'm not straight. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess if I was straight, Risky Business would
No, Risky Business never mattered to me because he's a rich kid.
Yeah, fuck him.
Fuck him. I don't care about him. Like, what? Like, he's going to end up always being a success because of his father's money.
There's no way that guy could fail ever at anything.
So I don't care about him failing.
There's no engagement with that character and that whole way of life that they had with that fucking like priceless football shaped thing that they had on their fucking grand piano. Fuck those people and fuck Risky Business.
Yeah, I don't care. Like, I don't want him to succeed. How about that?
Jeff, porn was the best part of the Dependable. They used to show 2 porn movies, and then whatever their third feature was, had to be non-porn because they couldn't operate in Moon Township any other way. But they put the non-porn movie last, which would have been like 3 a.m. So obviously nobody was going for that, which is amazing.
Yeah, and it's like they grabbed whatever was cheapest at the film office, right?
Yeah, whatever they could get at the Film Depot. When I did the Pittsburgh series, they showed the same movies at the Dependable over and over again at some point.
I love Conan the Destroyer and The Last Starfighter is another really great double feature. But I got to say, Seven Doors of Death with the Slayer you're going to be exhausted after Seven Doors of Death, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you're like, fuck, so much happened. And then all of a sudden you're going into like, it's like seeing the real band Slayer first, like speed metal, and then you're going into Doom, and it's a weird double feature. Just like Gremlins and Sudden Impact. Like, no kids want to sit around for Clint Eastwood.
Dirty Harry?
I don't know. Maybe when I didn't appreciate Clint Eastwood until I got much older.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't give a shit about Clint Eastwood when I was a kid, but
I only liked him when he had Clyde the orangutan with him.
I like Clint Eastwood a lot now.
Yeah, I love him. Like, now that I'm older, I'm like, yeah, I get it. And I love his movies. But when I was younger, it was like my grandfather was super into him, right? And my uncles and like older guys in my family really liked his movies.
Clint Eastwood, I mean, I know he has some, political affiliations now, but when he was throughout his life, he was an LGBTQ ally.
Yeah.
He's always been an ally. Even though
And
he's
then,
like, who cares about that thing with the chair and Obama?
yeah,
He seemed like really deranged almost when he did that. But
yeah,
I still love Clint Eastwood. I don't care.
I like him a lot too. And you know what? I think, I don't know. The world should be binary enough that you can be conservative in some of the
Yeah,
things you believe, but also be for people
you're
too.
allowed to do that.
Yeah. Um, Still, man, looking at this list, let's just imagine this because tonight we're about to watch cool movies together, and this is awesome. I love everybody that's in here and watching stuff with us. But on the other hand, like, could you imagine living in Pittsburgh at any point you could leave your house and have the choice of these movies?
Yeah,
Like,
it's
can you,
amazing.
like I can't even because I was too young until the drive-in started closing when I was like 15, 16. So I still wasn't old enough to take myself, right? Or take friends or go with friends to it. But to be able to say, "Oh, tonight we're going to go see Purple Rain and First Blood, or we're going to see City of the Living Dead and Exterminator 2." It's fucking man, what a great time.
Yeah, in a way, I mean, I remember what it was like at this time. In a
Yeah.
way, it seemed very restrictive because you
Yeah.
still, there were still aspects of your life that maybe some people felt like they had to hide from the
Yeah.
world in general. But at the same time, we did have a lot of entertainment to choose from. In some ways, it was very permissive and liberal in
Yeah.
certain ways, and you know, this was just a very special time for its entertainment in particular. And we look back on this and we sort of took it for granted at the time, the amount of choice that we had and the different genres, the variety of experiences that you could have in a theater.
Not to
And
go back into the music discussion too, but if you look at the top 40 from the year from 1982 or 83 when this ad was out, the kind of music that was out there too was like it wasn't all one style of music too. Like you had an opportunity to listen to a lot of different kinds of music.
it wasn't quite so, tribal at
Yeah,
that point. It was starting to, because I remember in high school, that's why I didn't associate with a lot of, I wasn't really into metal. I wasn't into
yeah,
certain genres that I came to appreciate later in life. Because in high school, you had to choose a lane and stay in it.
yeah.
At least that's how you felt. That's how I felt.
Well, it's like I was just telling back to the ninja movies. Like the sun only shines on TV was one of those ninja movies today, and I was like, I really love Aha, but as a metal kid, could I say that? Not
Oh my
necessarily.
God. America is the only place where AHA is not a huge band.
I get
Because
so upset whenever we watch those countdowns, Bill, on New Year's, and they talk about Aha being a one-hit wonder. I get so upset.
they're so not a one-hit
They're
wonder.
100%. They're the 180 of a one-hit wonder.
I'm sure they think that's funny though, that in America they're considered a
Yeah,
one-hit wonder. I'm sure they don't care. They've had so much success everywhere
yeah.
else.
Wow.
So
Oh
look
my
at this
gosh.
one. Yeah, how about this?
It's funny because those two Bruce Lee movies are what 10, like 5 to 7 years old by this point.
Yeah,
Wow.
this is pretty amazing, I
Yeah.
think. I mean, these two movies weren't showing together, but still.
But still, like knowing that in one theater these movies are playing, and in another theater the Slayer's playing is such a cool thing.
So this is our first feature tonight, The Slayer.
Put a pin in it.
First area showing. The Slayer
Yeah.
looks like he has dreadlocks in this ad.
He's like, hey man, I'm the Slayer, man.
He looks like Joe Leeway from the Thompson Twins.
Becca said he looks like he's coming out from the fog. He looks like one of the pirates.
Alana should be shaking a tambourine or hitting a garbage can lid in front of
Yeah.
him.
Oh man, that was a great run through the past.
I know I found so much good stuff. I know we ran a little bit longer than our first segment usually goes, but if it's just so
Yeah, but
much
I
good
think it's
stuff.
worth it to kind of appreciate what we once had, and it's exciting tonight to watch this with everybody. So thanks for hanging out and watching the show and getting ready for the Slayer. Also, I have a couple movies to give away in the third segment. As another spoiler. So, and if you want something, I asked people last week to claim stuff that they wanted in the weeks before. Only one person did so. If I don't hear from anybody by the third segment, I'm going to get away the rest of. I have a couple other ones to give away for the third segment.
I didn't have a lot of response either from my winners, but I had all their addresses anyway because they bought Drive-In Asylum. So I mailed out all your stuff. The people who won last weekend, sorry to say, your stuff didn't go out until today. So you're going to get your prizes from last week sometime next week. Sorry about that. This week has just been absolutely fucking nuts for me, and I could only fit in one mail day, and it was today.
Yeah. We didn't ask. I see that Lee said it. Who is a first-time watch before we go into the movie? Is this your
Sean
first time?
Midas said this was a first-time watch for
really?
him.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see who. I don't think Becca's seen this. She just got home, so I'm excited for her to see it too.
And David, you'll be happy to know I did a remix of Neon Slime that you will hear in the intro segment to the second segment, which I hope everybody will return to join us on.
Yeah, thanks for coming out tonight. I know, as it gets warmer, Saturday nights are a night to do so with people. So we really appreciate everybody that's here tonight. Thanks for joining us. This is, as always, I know I always say it, but the highlight of my week. So thanks for coming in.
Me too. We really appreciate it. And I posted the link to tonight's first feature, The Slayer, on Groovy Doom, or you can just go to YouTube and find it. There's a nice cleaned up print HD and everything on YouTube for you to find. That's the link I shared. Or you can watch it on Tubi. I'm pretty sure it's on there.
Yeah, I have it on. You got on my site. The Tubi link is on there, and there's a drink videos are saved on my site. If you ever want them afterwards, you're like, "Boy, I wish I could figure out that drink." They're all on my site, so check them out.
All right, so go watch the first feature. Come back afterwards and have nothing more to say. Dice Squad on the Drive-In Asylum double feature.
Yeah.
See you then.